Christian leader who is looking at you. Rather, there is nobody who can tell you what are you doing, right? Is it really worth doing? Like, if you do what you do, if nobody's watching you, is it, as in, like, will you confidently stand before people and do the exact same thing, and let's see people glorify God in you, right? If whatever you are doing socially doesn't really glorify God in the limelight, then just don't do it completely. Whether in the darkness, whether in your room, like anywhere else, let your life glorify God. Be you, live a life that pleases Christ, because at the end of the day, you say that you are a Christian. The word Christian comes from Christ, right? So if you're a Christian, you should live as Christ lives. Yeah.
Just to add something about balancing social life and academics, on top of what Kadzo is sharing, is I think I came to find that you are in campus because this is a moment, an institution of higher learning, and it's a chance to learn. And I was just viewing my friendships from primary school to high school, and most of them, if not all, did not survive the test of time. But then in campus, this is a time where you are each mature, so therefore your interaction is on a mature level. Therefore, I have found friends that I know, and yes, I know that I will keep for the rest of my life, because it's been a moment where we are sparring one another. And in terms of that balance is the aspect of navigating through that. I made sure that my friends are not just coming from Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, and particularly in my course that is Economics and Sociology, but then also ensuring that you have a friend who is taking the Kadzo took Sociology, the moderator here took Law, a good friend. Olam here is an engineer. You see, so that is a point where you diversify your friendship, your social capital, and this is able to help you in a way that at some point, you see, when I would say that when I could feel like perhaps my course is overburdened, like we have so much in this particular semester to do, but then I find my friend of a different course who in that particular semester, perhaps their academic work was not as heavy. So there is that encouragement that this friend would perhaps give to me. But at the same time, when now my coursework at some point was as light, and you find one whose coursework was as heavy, and perhaps you might feel the sense of lagging and maybe lazing around because after all, I don't have much to do. And then seeing someone who is having so much, it reminds you that, by the way, people are studying, so you need to study. Even if your course might be light, but then this social capital from that is diverse is able to keep you on check, keep you on toes, keep you on balance, at the same time keep you in touch with the things of different courses, that by the time you leave campus, you don't just live as myself, economics and sociology graduate, but then you leave also having perspective from different fields, that even one day you stand and tell people that I was in a university where different courses were offered, at least you can have a thing or two to share about those other courses.
Yeah, okay. I was watching a documentary some few days ago, and it said the friends you make in campus are your children's future connections. Meaning, or rather, okay, not just your children's future connections, the same way my colleague has said that your in friendships here should be diverse, right? In a manner that you'll go out there and then you may want a service from a particular department. And then you remember that you have a friend in that particular department, or rather in that particular field. For instance, okay, all of us, we are living in a world where you don't know tomorrow, right? So, for example, I got into a problem, right? Okay, let me just say this. Maybe I committed a traffic offense, right? And I've been taken to court. I don't have a, and in all the friends I made in campus, there is none of them who did law. I require a lawyer, right? So at some point, it's really good to be diverse with your friends, because at that particular point you realize I have a friend who can help, right? Or rather a friend who can give you advice towards a particular scenario, or rather a particular issue that you are dealing with, or a particular work, anything that you may be dealing with. Maybe you can be given a contract, but your contract inahitaji maybe an input of a particular field, and hauko kwa hiyo field, but you have a friend who was in that particular field, right? So that makes it easier for you to navigate the course of life. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Having a wide scope of friends from everywhere. You don't know who you may need at what time. Yeah. And you're talking about doing Kato was talking about doing the right thing even when no one is watching, and that is integrity. And we're in the month of integrity. This is a month when you're celebrating integrity and advocating for integrity, and actually that is integrity. And maybe my question will be, I'll direct this to Olam. As a student, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're tempted to compromise your integrity? Yeah, unapata yes, unaingia cut, hiyo cut unajua ujaivia, unajua hiyo cut ujaivia vizuri, and you have everyone else wako na marks. Yeah, but there you are, you say mi nakufa nayo, naenda tu venye niko. Yeah, have you ever found yourself at such a place, and how did you manage such a situation?
Thank you so much, and I believe it's right that this question has been directed to me, because it is not once but many times. I don't know, because perhaps the nature of the cause was too tough, but many of the times I was personally presented in such kind of instances that I was about to compromise my faith, and possibly at one point or another I was actually giving in, because of also the responsibilities that came also with leadership, and also my classmates. Yeah, I used to stay in a class whereby people used to ask me, where are your classmates? Because we were only 3 who are consistent in coming to the CU in a class of 17. So the 17 were in the world and also of the world. So many situations, because in a class of 17 you are only 3, and so you are surrounded by 15 others. 15 others who want to compromise. What do you do? Perhaps you read, and then the lecturer decided that this time round I'm not going to say what you actually read. So you are there, you know this thing, because I've made a clean sweep with my mind, calculated what I'm going to score if I use my normal mind as it stands. You know, the status quo, I'm going to get a calendar grade. So what should I do? Because it is actually usually one step. At times they are wondering, where is this man from? You know, which planet are you from? Because actually they are willing to help. You know, and many at the times also the lecturer used to leave the room, because at times they used to say, and I can remember a particular unit. I will never forget this particular unit. It's called Laplace equations. Them who are doing maths and engineering know that particular unit is the unit that we still read. In the cut we were told, use what you have. Until the exams, the lecturer were very intentional in ensuring they have created a conducive environment for a student, and a Christian student who has not stood well in the faith to actually fail. But it was a very opportune time, considering also the nature of the unit, But I think what I've actually believed in my heart is that there's nothing that can be hidden from God's eyes. So today you compromise, then today you still come to Him boldly. It will never happen. So it is that mentality. Many of times I've not passed. Actually, I'm not the one of the best in my class. Yeah, but of course we had the opportunity to compromise and to do well. But I also believe God is able to reward the work that we do as much as we are faithful. So it is the aspect of being faithful and just telling yourselves, people are doing this. The lecturer has left the room for us to be able to use our phones. He actually has set the entire PDF. I can actually write a Kenya. My roommate will not know perhaps that I'm actually having it. The lecturer may not know, but I will not do it. Because how can I do this, just like David is saying, and then deceive my God? Yeah, I cannot do this and lie to my God. How will I be able to do this? And the next day I stand there and preach Jesus, that Jesus is able to do exceedingly abundantly. But in the classroom, it's not the case. So it is a conscious mentality that things at times are tough. There's that pressure to give in and to compromise on my basic belief system, especially when it comes to exams. But I will not do this and deceive my God. So I think that is help, and it is still helping. Yeah. Yesterday I had sent someone to pick my gown. As I conclude that if at all you've compromised on integrity once, you will fall multiple times. Of course, I have finished my studies, but again, there are many opportunities to compromise. And then my former roommate calls me and tells me that there's someone who wants to speak to you. And then actually he calls me with a new number that I've not saved. Then the guy starts speaking in my vernacular and is saying quotes in quotes in my French language that visit my bag. Yeah, that because you have come with the requisition form, but you don't have a fee statement. So just send something, then you do not have to go back and get the fee statement. But I told Maina, I told the guy, give him the phone. I want to talk to him, and I told Maina, whatever the guy wants, we are not able to give. Yeah, and then Maina just told me, Nisawa, let me work on it. So if you compromise there, you'll also compromise when picking the gown. You also compromise when you have gotten a second class and there's a message that send 30K, you will get a first class. There's also an opportunity that will compromise when opportunity comes to you to seek employment. But God says that He is faithful. When it is we that forsake Him, but He cannot deny Himself. So it is now just working our salvation with fear and trembling, and knowing that it is Him that causes us both to will and to do of His good pleasure. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And the Bible says that everything lies bare before the Lord. Yeah, so there is nothing hidden from Him. And you have said when you compromise at one point, you'll be needed to compromise at 1,000 other points. Yeah. So upholding integrity. I know you are heading towards the exam period, so we uko hapo, please uphold integrity. And the Lord is a rewarder. He's a rewarder of those who remain faithful and those who trust in Him. Yeah. And so even as we almost come to the end of our session, I will maybe I can direct this to Baraka. Are there points in your studies, in your life as a student, you felt place yenye imefika uka lose hope kabisa, nasema we sasa pia degree sasa imekuja sana, we can do without it, ama inaweza kaa? Yeah, because I know there are times when things get tough, yeah. So are there times that you have ever reached at that point, and what drew you from that point? What really strengthened your heart? You can say, I can stand up and do this. Yes.
Wow. Nostalgic moments that I should give. I don't know why the questions that are coming my way are okay. Are more of reminding me some heavy stuff. that took place. But the moments in life where you could say that enough is enough was the onset, when there are people who say that it was over before it started. So the onset of my studies was a point where I was like, hey, my God, this might not be what I was called for. This is not what I had signed up for as myself. And I remember attending classes to fulfill all righteousness. I remember at that point just pushing myself to go to class and be able to sit in those lectures, listen to these lecturers speaking and sharing, and at the point where if at some point, I don't know, let me say that this was a point of God was dealing with my pride, because at some point you feel like whatever he's sharing, I could have sat in my room and gone through my PDF, and still I would have understood. There is no need of me coming to this class. Why are you wasting our time? I thought we came to an institution of higher learning where it is more of we are getting new ideas, but I'm seeing one who is reading to us some notes. And that was the point where God said, my son, let me now show you why it is important for you to be seated in this class. So when a certain cut that came to test me from those particular sessions, and I submit that Olams mentioned calendar, the calendar dates, the calendar results, and those were what I was carrying, and I was like, wow, this cannot be so. But at the same time, just going to those classes, and you are just sitting in, so that when you are called by your parent, they will not ask you, did you attend class today? And you have to lie. So for you to say the truth, you have to attend the classes. But whatever you're gaining from those classes were not necessarily adding value, because you are not listening. You are just there looking at evaluating the mode of teaching, the how of the presentation, and not the what. So the what always passed me, and I felt a heavy semester. 1.1 was a very long semester for me, and I was like, or could I do a faculty, interfaculty transfer, and perhaps go for something that I feel that could best fit me? Or could I then say that campus is scam and go out there and pursue whatever life will bring my way? But then I remembered that the Lord who brought me from high school to this place had a reason why he placed me at that moment. And also I remembered telling myself that in this is a time that has been given to me by God, and there are people who are just praying in their hearts that if only I would have gotten a hint of stepping into a campus, then perhaps my life would have changed. And that thought clicked me, and it was the point where I remember praying to God and telling God that would this be the last time I behave in such a manner? Therefore, give me diligence coming the preceding the coming years, the progressive years. The second time I remember was I think it was in 2.2. Yes, in 2.2, that was a point where I was brought down. Remember, I'd made a commitment prayer in 1.1. So in 2.2, the thing was, this was not my laziness, but rather it was a point where I was sick, and my disease came just at the few weeks to exams. And here you are in a moment of pain, in a moment of facing a challenge of balancing your health with your studies. But also it was the point where I'd also started service in the CU. And I remember that telling myself, it is justified for you to say that all these things are too much for you, not to continue. But at the same time, you might decide to become a victim of circumstance, or still go ahead and pursue that which you are called for. I remember that a semester later, one of the speakers in the CU came and gave us a story. And she gave us a story of how she had passed through difficulties. And that was the thing that was coming to my mind, that yes, difficulty will come your way, but it is to them that are overcomers that we will get to hear their stories, that we will get to celebrate with them. Because we who are seated here today, if by any chance we would have given in to all the circumstances that would have come our way, I don't know if you would have even thought of us. Yes, you wouldn't have thought of us coming here. But then to them that have, despite the circumstance, despite the challenge that comes their way, have otherwise overcome, have decided to put that aside and still do that which is required of them. That was the point that drove me in 2.2 to continue, because I remember, and this is to my brother John, who was there all through. I remember that at that point during examination period, that I could not walk from my room to exam, that I had to be carried, I had to be helped. A boda came and I had to be taken to class, to the exam room. And I remember the lecturer looking at me and he was like, are you serious? You are doing an exam in this state you are in? But I said, all the same, we have to go on. We have to do it. Because if I don't, then I later on give an excuse that it is because of one day I was put down by a certain issue, that yes, by then people will sympathize with you. People will have pity for you. People will be there to understand that which you've gone through. But the bottom line is, by then, that you still did not go through with life. And that is the point that pushed me to at least tell God that this is the state I am in, but all the same, I want to see you in it. If I fail, be it. If I pass, then glory to God, because you've pushed me through life, pushed me through all this. And yeah, also that's an encouragement to anyone who feels like life sometimes is serving them a plate of misfortunes. Some of these misfortunes, or most of them, are very justifiable. That if you present them to us here today, give us those stories, we will be able to tell you that, my brother, my sister, just please take a break. But we'll just tell you that also, remember the God who is able to bring you to that finish line. And remember the joy that comes in the finish line. That this is, as I finish, this is something that I always ask many people, that what would your younger self, what would yourself who was in 1.1, what do you think he would have told you currently that you are finishing school? And I tell myself that, would it be that the younger self would be telling my then self, congratulations, you've done what I had anticipated for you to do, or you wouldn't have made me more proud. That is, I think, what I always admire and strive for. I might not necessarily achieve it always, but that is what I strive for.
Amazing. Dear younger self. Yeah. What will your younger self tell your thin self? Yeah. Amazing. And now, even as we wrap up, I want you to share one lesson that you're carrying with from your campus life. Yeah. What one lesson are you carrying with? Will you carry with for a period of time, that tutasema, this maybe I made a mistake here, I achieved here, and I learned this lesson. Yeah, to help that, because for Lam there is that young Olam in who is in 1.1, who was not yet discovered who does not know Christ, yeah, ama who hasn't discovered who he is, yeah, and who hasn't discovered this is now who I am, his identity, yeah. What one lesson have you learned in your campus life that will carry you even as it carries him? Yes.
Much, and I will give it a wider scope as I proceed. Number one is God has a grand plan for each and every one of us, because I know around 70% of us who are in campus are not doing the courses we desire to do when we are young. Some of us wanted to be pilots, some of us wanted to be doctors and lawyers, but you are doing a JED. I'm saying a JED because a JED is a very noble course. Personally, I did agricultural engineering, but I did not want to do engineering in the first place, but I did agriculture. So that is one point that I have come to appreciate, that God has already laid a master plan for our life, because it is in agricultural engineering that I also learned a lot of things. If at all I had decided that because I did not want to do agricultural engineering, I'm going to be sluggish around, I'm going to be not to engage my intellectual industry, I'm just going to be sleep. Furthermore, I don't love the course, then I will have wasted my life and I will have become a reproach to the body of Christ. Number one is just to appreciate that I'm not doing the course that I wanted, but I can use this as a stepping stone to get what I want. So that is number one, to address the issue of those people who are not doing the courses that they really desire to do. Don't squander that course. Don't just sleep, be sluggish around, because it's not the course that you wanted to do, but just use it as a stepping stone. You are here. A lot of resources are being pumped in to ensure you finish that course. Don't squander it. Number two, I'm speaking about those people who want to serve two masters. It is good. I know you want also to compare yourself with your friend who perhaps is mining coins and getting some cash, but because you are bending unainama and life is too hard. But again, statistics, my personal statistics in the few years I was in Egerton University, I can admit that I've seen friends who started well, focused, reading, but they said that they want to do other business to earn something. They are still students. Some of them are in third year. So be a student if you are a student. Solomon presents us with wisdom in the book of Ecclesiastes 3, and he says that in the earth there is a time for everything. So you are here because, number one, you are a student. Just concentrate on your academics. If at all you want to do a side hustle, be sure that that side hustle is not going to any way interfere with the sole reason why you are here. That is number two. Make sure you concentrate on your academics. Number three is, as I conclude, is now about balancing your life. How many times do we sleep after prioritizing for the following day? How many times do we as students write our weekly planners on Monday or as the week starts, or on Sunday before the week starts? Most of the time we wake up, we yawn because perhaps we have not eaten anything, then proceed with life. Then our friends will organize how our lives will be. So it also a clarion call just to be organized, There's a book I will recommend, Ordering Your Private World, and also The Habits of Highly Effective People, and also Atomic Habits. They come a long way in helping us appreciate the aspect of ordering our life. Because if you don't plan for your life, other people will plan it for you. I know we are living in a world of peer pressure. So have a to-do list for that entire day. Have a weekly planner. If you can't do a weekly planner, then make sure before you sleep, you have planned for the following day. So that, and by the end of every week, just sit down and evaluate the progress of that entire week, so that it will help you also to do the mapping of your life, so that you know how you are planning yourself as a student. Because many of times we find ourselves, we have planned for 25% in ministry, 75% in ministry, and 25% in our academics. So when you have a weekly plan, it will actually help you to map your life as a student. And also, one of the things that I have learned in campus is continuous learning. continuous learning is very key, because when you get there as a student, it's not about the first class. The first class is very good, and I highly advocate for it, because we are also required to be excellent. But also make sure you have skills, so much so that you don't have the knowledge, but you actually cannot do work on the ground, because employers outside there will always ask you, what can you do? And we are living in a world of solutions. So ensure that on top of that information technology or computer science that you are doing, the head knowledge is important, but also the practical or the skills comes in handy in ensuring that you are also applicable to our job market. All the best as we continue with this journey, but be a man of integrity. Set your priorities right, and I always say it is better people call you Pasi or pastor, because you are not giving in to other things. It will save you a lot than compromise once, and then people will be reminding, by the way, squeeze unajifanya, there's a time you used to be like this. When you set your boundaries from day one, people are able to know that this person is like this. You will not fall into these small temptations that we people fall in. And I will conclude by the words of Paul to Timothy, that has set an example to believers, both in conduct, in speech, in love, and also in your academics. And our good Lord is able to help you and work with you. Thank you.
Amazing. I'll give a chance to Kadzo and also Baraka to just share with us. Yeah.
Okay. Things that I've carried from campus to out here. Okay, other thing that I will carry from campus is okay. The first thing Egerton taught me patience. Egerton seriously taught me patience, because if you are impatient, this place will tell you to, okay, you seriously get what I mean, right? So yeah, patience is something that I have learned from this place. It's something that I have come to cultivate and incorporate it in my daily life currently, because I have learned to be patient with people. I have learned to be patient with myself. I have learned to be patient, because at some point you may want things done fast, or you may want somebody to do things fast. But at that particular point, you realize that no matter how fast you want things get done, sometimes they just can't get done as fast as you want them to get done, right? And sometimes we need to exercise patience with the people that are okay, that they are in our circle, in the manner that these people, they are a whole personality different from yours, right? And you need to learn patience. You will learn to be patient for you to understand them. You need to be patient for you to understand, like, how does Baraka really work? Because most of the time, you may, okay, Baraka is a friend, right? But there are things that Baraka does that maybe, to me, they aren't really up to what I want, right? Or rather, they aren't up to the standard I want. Sometimes we may have friends, right? And they may be doing things that are hurting us in a way. And again, you realize that you may rectify this person, but again, it will take a whole while for them to like see what they're doing is wrong, right? Most of the time, somebody will do something out of habit, but not the fact that maybe they want to offend you. For instance, okay, what example can I give? For instance, maybe how I was brought up, right? I was taught that to me, the first thing I do in the morning is greet my elders, or rather, greet the people around me, right? So I will wake up in the morning and I'll say, good morning, right? And every time I get, any time that somebody gives me something, is the first thing I should do is say, thank you, right? And then I come to Baraka, I give Baraka a pen, and Baraka just walks out. Okay, that is a culture or rather a character that Baraka has that, okay, is different from what I know, right? From what I was taught. But to see, for him, it's okay because he wasn't taught that if somebody gives you something, you should say thank you, right? He just walks out. For him, it's normal. To me, it's not, right? So for me, I get offended with that. So I have learned to be patient with people because God has been patient with us, or rather, God is patient, very patient with us. And the grace that God has extended to us, we should also extend it to our fellow people, as in our friends and the people around us. Secondly, what I've carried from Egerton is the values that the Christian Union has instilled in me. The prayer culture, this particular place, like the fact that you can wake up and go for a morning devotion and just start your day with you talking to God. It's a culture that it has instilled in me, to the fact that maybe I can just find myself awake at 3 praying, not because it is something that I had before coming here, because it, okay, before najua leo kwa nyumbani jamaa mliteli twende kanisani and you're like mimi ni usingizi, then she lets you sleep, right? But you get here and you realize is if you don't wake up, your friend is there, so atakwambia wewe amka twende bwana, like toka twende, umeelewa? So with that culture, it has really helped me, like it has really, like I have grown spiritually, like I have grown prayer wise. Imefika ile level ya kwamba si lazima tena niamshwe, right? Si lazima tena nisukumwe niende nifanye, like for me to go pray. I just find myself praying because it is the culture that was instilled in me here. The culture of reading the Bible, right? Like the Bible studies that have been placed as a program here is something that has cultivated that habit in me, right? It is something that it has helped or that has developed in me, that hakuna venye utamka asubuhi ama umalize siku nzima without going back to your Bible, or without you going back and as in without you waking up and praying in the morning, without you reading your Bible, without you like getting at par. Because at some point there is that particular point where you don't feel like praying. But again, with the prayer culture in Egerton, imekufunza kwamba hata ukitembea, you can pray while walking. You can just say something while walking, and that is a prayer. And that is really something that nimebeba, and I really appreciate that. And for those of us that really don't go for this program, right? For those of us that feel like waking up and going for the morning devotions, that going for the afternoon prayers, or rather the evening prayers, it's not really a burden, and it's not really something that ni kitu ambayo inakusaidia wewe mwenyewe pia to grow spiritually. It is a habit that is cultivated in you. We were told that the prayers you make now are your savings for tomorrow, because today you are able to pray, tomorrow you may not be able to pray. The prayers you make today, they will open doors for you tomorrow. So don't despise the fact that right now you can wake up and go to pray, because itafika point ya kwamba hiyo time, hiyo place ya kuomba hauna, hiyo opportunity ya kuomba hauna, sio eti utaki, but hiyo chance ndio hauna. So because you have the chance now, please take it. Go for those morning devotions, go for those afternoon prayers, go for those evening prayers. They're worth it. Go for those Bible studies. Please ensure that every particular Bible study in every semester you are in one particular group. Usikose, because that is where you grow. That is where you get the opportunity to like discuss and like know God in a different depth. Because I came to understand the fact that okay, I've been a Bible study pastor, and I guess from 1.2 to 4.2. So for me, I came to understand that I may know God as a protector, but Baraka knows God as a provider. So the way Baraka talks about God, it is very different from how I talk about God. And you realize I understand how God works through how Baraka understands how God works, and through how Olam understands how God works, and through how Lydia understands how God works, right? So in that particular Bible study group, it is a place where you share. It is a place where you open up. Because pale CU tunaenda tukiwa wengi and we just listen, we don't talk, right? But that particular group, you talk. Because nobody's allowed to keep quiet. Hapo sasa utaongea. And please don't feel tusema ni shyness ama ni uoga wa kuongea, thinking that maybe if I say something, people they're going to judge me, right? How will they look at me after saying this? That it is a place where we embrace each other. It's a place where we pray for each other. It's a place where we encourage each other. So don't feel left out. Don't stay alone. Come. Like uje, like muende, like let's attend those Bible studies. Let's attend those prayers, because they are worth every single minute of it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. These are good lessons. I'll give five lessons that I've learned among many. But first, before the 5 lessons, is how I wish that CU was something mandatory for every campus student. How I wish, but because that cannot be a reality, is that CU is a place that is rich of many things. Let us put aside the spiritual aspect and let us just view it in the sense of the opportunities it offers. It offers discipline that Kaz has been talking about, the discipline of prayer, waking up every morning. That is a discipline you are building up every day, to wake up at 5 a.m. And this is to start with prayer. It builds knowledge with regards to how to relate to people. It builds knowledge to financial matters, relationship issues, and your view towards marriage. It builds the capacity of academic prowess and all. And CU is a rich place that if only that was open to everyone to be exposed to such a learning ground. But also to the 5 lessons that I've learned. One is never let your affliction limit your ambition. How I wish that is what I implemented. But then all the same, I've learned, and therefore I am implementing as I go forth, that it doesn't matter whatever happened or whatever is happening to you. Look at the ambition that you are going for. That excellence is sweet in the end. That I've walked around and people are telling me congratulations, and you feel happy about it. But if only you could share with someone how at one point these people who are telling you congratulations would have come in then and told you that, brother, go on. That at that point, it wasn't making sense. But right now, excellence is sweet. But then the effort that has been put, the work that has been put towards it, is what majority of us never see it. The second lesson that I have learned is, or I am still learning, is the aspect of planning. and I can get emotive in speaking on the aspect of planning. Olam spoke about it, about planning, having a planner, a weekly planner, of planning your day, planning your week. I tell you that in campus, we are in a space where we have not been taught to plan. We have been taught that if class may bounce, you are free. We remember how all those free lessons we used to have in high school. When class may bounce, oh, you have the free time to do everything that you want. You can go and sleep, you can go and watch that movie and do every other thing apart from the important things. And how I wish that we could learn the aspect of planning. And the aspect of planning helps you to guard your time, as Olam was talking about earlier, and helps you to put you on focus on a journey towards achieving and conquering life as it comes. Also, the life of planning is a life where you are able to account for your life. You are able to sit down by the end of the week and say that A, B, C, D has been achieved in my life, but G, H has not been achieved. And the reason is because of 1, 2, 3. But without a plan, because you don't know what you are going for, you don't know how you are going for it, at the end of the day, you are asked, you say that the day was good or the day was bad, but the extent of the bad and the good cannot be accounted for, and therefore there is no progress. Planning is the key, or rather is the solution to most of the problems we are facing in the society, but also most of the problems we are facing in campus. The issue of exam cheating, it's because we as students never learned to plan. That now let me view it on the bright light. You know that you are serving in, let's say, in the CU or even in the student union. Therefore, your time is not as the time of one who is not in any commitment elsewhere. So you know that you have ABCD to take care of, but also you have your studies. So if you plan yourself well, the aspect of knowing that my semester is 14 weeks, exam is coming after that. Therefore, I have the whole of this semester to work on my studies. I have the whole of the semester to do all that I need to do and still achieve everything else that I need to achieve. And if we don't plan, I remember in one of the CU services when a speaker was talking about integrity, that we have been insisting about exercise integrity from starting on Monday. But he was saying that this Christian, faithful enough, has gotten into an exam room, and I felt like you're speaking about me, and he has sat there, he's starting to write, but there is nothing to write. Number one. Number two, looking aside, people are cheating, but you remember you're a Christian. Therefore, you say, I will not cheat. And you get out of that exam room and you say that I exercised integrity. And the speaker said, no, you never exercised integrity. One is because you did not study. If you studied and that happened to you, then that is very okay that you exercised integrity. But if you did not study before and that happens to you, then please allow me to be harsh as at now, is that then that is not also integrity, because the time that you would have used before to prepare, you did not use it to prepare, and you come in that exam room without anything to write, or rather without sufficient content to write. And while you say at that moment you did not cheat, but you cheated on time, the time that, unless that time was being used for something constructive, it remains that you cheated on time. The third thing that I would say that I learned in this space is something that I've hinted on, is integrity. Integrity is the aspect, and we were having a heated discussion with the speaker this Sunday where I am at, and the speaker was speaking about integrity, and he was saying that integrity is the level unto which you are able to attach your actions to your words, where it is what you say, then you accompany it with actions. But if you are not in a position to attach actions to your words, then there is no point in time where you are integral, where you exercise integrity. because we have come to a point where we can be gifted speakers. We can be gifted in our beliefs that I know as a Christian, I'm not supposed to do ABCD, but at the end of the day, I find myself doing it. Well, we can attribute that and justify it to many spiritual factors, but then at the end of the day, it remains that our belief system and our actions and our words, the three, are not matching. But to be a person of integrity is when all these three are matching. But at the same time, a pointer is that integrity is a continuum. It is not a target that you hit and say that now I am a person of integrity, but it's rather a continuum. That one of the philosophers says that integrity can neither be 0 nor 100%, but you can quantify it in the percentage in between 1 to 99%, that you are always moving towards a certain target. You can be on the quadrant of you are exercising integrity, that is on the positive end, or on the negative end where integrity is insufficient. So if we can exercise ourselves and train ourselves to make this a reality in our lives, and as I'm speaking to this, I'm using the word we deliberately because personally, I'm still trying or learning to find my way through that jungle. The fourth thing I would say is that God. There is a verse in the book of Ephesians chapter 2 that Paul speaks about how we are fallen as in our human nature, how man is depraved. But then he says it, I think if it's not verse 4, sorry if I've misquoted it, he says, but God. And that is what has made a turnaround for the people you're seeing in front of you today, that but God has been said in our lives. Olama said that at 1.1, his life was on a certain trajectory, but God on that Saturday fellowship met him. Katso has also hinted about how but God has worked for him. Personally, I have a story of how but God has been applicable to me, and that is a story I have learned in campus, in the CU, and in my 4 years of study. That a story that I will carry to the rest of my life. That at some point, yes, it reaches to where you feel like, oh God, you say that you will be with us to the end, but why is it that I'm not feeling your presence now? But then this God that we serve is able to rewrite our stories, no matter what it is. Remember, I started by saying, never let your affliction limit your ambition. And finally, is to say that life gets busier. I wish I learned that earlier on, but then all the same, I'm still learning that life gets busier. And the early you learn to balance, the earlier you learn to accept that fact that life will always get busier. Therefore, you have to plan yourself. You have to take care of all these activities, know what you are dealing with, and have strategies on how to deal with them. Then the easier it will become for you. There is no point in time where we were told, Sama, when you are now in primary school, you're told, study hard, you will rest in campus, in high school. In high school, you're told, no, work hard here. In campus, life will be easier. You come to campus and you're like, my goodness, that work hard now, then your life afterwards will be easier. For those of us who have gotten out here for these few months, we tell you that we are still waiting. We are still looking forward to the promise we were given in primary school. Perhaps we will never get it until we die. Perhaps they could have just told us, live this life and you will get rest in heaven.
Wow, amazing. You can just tell from the sharing that these are real graduates, yeah? Major content. Major content. And I think the question in my head is, class kibounce nafanyanga nini? Am I one of those people yenye tuna celebrate tunaenda kulala ama kuwatch movie? Yeah, planning ourselves. yeah, and it is amazing. Yeah, I think, not I think, I know these are testaments, yeah, of the faithfulness of God. Baraka has talked about but God, and that is the statement that I've had in each and every one of their sharing. Yeah, that God came through for them. Yeah, and I'm sure even for you, our viewer, maybe uko hiyo point ya unashinda sasa hii masomo, tuliambiwa hii ndio tuliambiwa tunakuja kurest. Yeah, but there is a God. Yeah, there is God in heaven. Yeah, and He sees and He's there for us. We do our part. We study. As we started, the alarm says, "Do your best until there is nothing else to be done." Do your best, and the Lord will guide you through. And for us, we celebrate you as ENCCU. We really celebrate. Yes, we celebrate you. And, the psalmist says in the book of Psalms 20, verse 5, that may we shout for joy over your victory. And we are here to just shout for joy over your victory, that the Lord may guide you through even for the next phase of your life. Yeah, from us, U-Point series, this was our session for today. Mesikia leo ni content doing with our academics, because if you want to get your place ya kuvaa gown, you have to really work on our academics. We give our best until there is nothing more to be done. May the Lord bless you. Keep it U-Point. Remember Revelation 12:11, and they defeated the devil by the words of their testimony and the blood of the Lamb. We love you. Until next time, God bless you.